Hi, I'm Amanda Perna at The Amanda Perna, and today I'm going to show you how to hem your pants. It's a good way to save a lot of money and be able to have pants that fit you perfectly. Now, depending on the type of pant and the type of fabric, you are going to want to use different kinds of hems. For today, I'm going to show you how to do a top-stitched machine hem, which is perfect for denim and other thick fabrics, or any time that you're okay seeing the stitching marks. You might want to do a blind hem either by machine or hand if you're doing something that's a little bit more delicate or a little bit more formal. The first thing you need to do is put the pants on and measure them. You want to make sure you have them on with any kind of shoe that you're going to be wearing, because if you're wearing something taller, you're going to want them to be a little bit longer than if you're wearing them with something flat. So I like to try them on a few different things that I might possibly wear them with and then find the happy medium. So I made 2 marks. I like to mark my pants when they're on me on the 2 outside seams, so that way if one gets rubbed off, you still know where it is. The key to this is once you have the spot you want is to go from the bottom and measure up and try to keep it consistent. So I marked mine at approximately 3 inches. I like to round it up a little bit just to be safe. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark it all the way across at the 3-inch mark. I like to use tailor's chalk, but you could also use the pencil kind. There's a million different types that you can play around with and see which you like best. But this kind always works out the best for me. So now I have my line. This is going to be where I want it to stop. So in order to make your hem, this kind of hem is a 1/2 inch turned back twice. So what we want to do now is go from the finished mark and go down 1/2 inch. And this is going to be for our first turn up. And then we're gonna go down another 1/2. So this is your seam allowance. So now we're gonna go down another 1/2 inch and make our mark. So this mark is going to be where we're actually gonna cut it so that you have your hem. So we're gonna go and cut across here. You want sharp scissors so that it's nice and straight. And that is going to be our cut part of it. If you have an iron, what you want to do is press it all the way at 1/2 inch. So you can also mark it as you go with your ruler. You're going to want to trace your line all the way around. And I like to use a pin here just so it's really stable. So we're going to do it. And you can put as many pins as you need to stabilize. So now we're gonna do the back side. And we're gonna make our little marks. Now that I have both sides pinned here, what you're gonna do is roll it again, and that's gonna be your finished place. So the good thing is, because it's a 1/2 and a 1/2, you can actually use the bottom as a guide. If it's easier for you, you could turn your pant inside out. I don't think it's necessary, but I know some people like to do it that way. So what I do is I will roll it. Sometimes it's easiest if you do it at the side seam first. And we're gonna pin. So remember, this is our final stitching length, so you'll have that little guide of your marking. And we're gonna roll it. And you wanna make sure you pull it tight and you get it right to that line. So this is when you see your jeans, why there's that little bit of bulk at the bottom because of the fabric. It makes it a little bit thick. And when you're doing it, make sure you're keeping it as straight as possible, especially if you're using something like the denim that I have that has a little bit of stretch. You want to make sure it doesn't get pulled out of whack, because then the whole pant gets skewed when you're trying to sew. So you only want to gently do it. You don't want to be pulling it too much in any direction. You want to make sure your side seams match up. If it's easier for you, you could do that at the beginning. I like to go around the circle, but I've also been doing this for a long time. You always want your pins on the outside, so that way when you're sewing, you can pull them as you go. Final pin. And if it makes it easier for you to stabilize, you can put pins closer together. And just remember, the more pins you put in, the more you're gonna have to take out once you're sewing. So we have it all pinned neatly. And this is where you can once again iron it flat if you have an iron at home. I'm doing it the simplest way possible. So if you don't have all the tools, you can still hem your pants, but the more you iron, the smoother it is. So you're gonna do the same thing on the other leg, and then we're ready to sew. Now we're all pinned and it's time to start sewing. I like to think about what I want the final look to be. Do I want the thread to blend into the pant, or do I want it to be more similar to the original? For this one, am going to pick a color that's kind of close to the original stitching color. Now you can get super perfect with it and take your pant and match it, or you could use a thread that you have at home. So we're gonna use a gold color. When you're doing this, you wanna make sure that you also are paying attention to your stitch length. They can be smaller or larger. When you're using something with stretch, I like to do something that's a little bit longer in stitch length, so that way when it pulls because of the stretch, it's not held so tightly. So I'm just gonna adjust this on my machine. I'm gonna put it at a 3.5, but you could even go to a 4. Or if you want it really tight so it doesn't move, you can do it a smaller length. But remember, you want it to stretch. It's the good thing about stretchy jeans. And now when you're stitching, you wanna pull your pins out as you go so it doesn't break, especially since this is such thick material. You're already gonna have a little bit of a challenge trying to get it in there. You wanna stitch it a little less than half so that way it catches all of your fabric that is right at that 1/2 inch mark. So you're gonna put your needle down. I'm gonna pull my first pin out. You wanna pay attention and make sure that you are not catching the leg, especially if you have a smaller, skinnier jean like I do here. It's gonna be a little tight, so you wanna make sure that you're constantly checking so you don't stitch your leg shut. So we're gonna go ahead. I will sometimes also go over really thick parts with my hand wheel, so that way it doesn't go too quickly. You want to make sure always that you do a little back stitch. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and now we're ready to go. Pulling your pins. Getting to that side seam again. So you want to get your hands ready to get your hand wheel, unless your machine is powerful enough to push through it, which mine happens to be. If not, if you're a little nervous, use your hand wheel and go slow. Checking again as we go. Okay, you're meeting at the same spot that you started. Back stitch and cut. So here we have our new hem. So beautiful. And you can press this flat again too. You're gonna hem the other side, and that's all there is to it. You could save all the money, have a ton of fun sewing, and hem all of your pants right at home. I'm Amanda Perna. Thanks for watching.